My name is Dallas Oquist, and I will be speaking for the affirmative side of this debate. I am happy to be speaking on this side of the debate because I feel that nuclear war would create less wars and cut down on the death toll. Some key terms is nuclear, and that is pertaining to containing atomic weapons. War, a conflict carried on by a force of arms, as between nations or between parties within a nation. Warfare by land, sea, or air, and ending, the final or concluding part. With nuclear weapons comes a great responsibility. It takes a lot of guts to be willing to press the red button and send off a nuclear warhead. But when the time is right, the choice has to be made. The atom bomb was no great decision. It was merely another powerful weapon in the arsenal of righteousness, said Harry S. Truman. Nuclear warfare is and can be a good backup during war. It is one of those things that gives you the needed edge. Although it is a last resort, I believe it can save many lives in the end. Dropping the bomb did not end life on Earth as we know it. In fact, as of 2009, both Nagasaki and Hiroshima are vibrant, vital cities. Dropping the bomb was proof positive that America could make and would use atomic weapons. Dropping the bombs broke the will of the Japanese to engage in a suicidal death to the last man, woman, child strategy. Dropping the bomb paved the way for the peaceful use of atomic energy, for without the billions spent on war, there would not have been millions spent for peaceful usage of atomic energy. People tend to pay for war before peace. Today, the 3 points we are going to be looking at are the negotiation powers behind the bomb, how the bomb saves lives, and hardships, and how the bomb is able to end wars. So our contention one is negotiating powers. Looking at the devastation it does, it shows the power of the nation, and they know one wants to fight, said IHR.org. With the power comes responsibility, and no one wants to fight America today because we were the nation that used a nuclear warhead, also by IHR.org. And the power shows dominance, and with the use of nuclear weapons, America has become a superpower in the world, IHR.org. So with all the power that nuclear war brings, is we can use it for negotiation powers as well. No one wants to fight someone with a nuclear warhead if they don't have them. So using that to the advantage, it actually stops a lot of wars from happening. Contention 2 is saving lives. Many people believe that the atomic bomb killed more people than we had reason to. However, I'm here to tell you that it saved many lives and lots of money. One site, freerepublic.com, said that dropping the bomb saved around 4 million lives. The bomb costs civilian loss, but every war does. It is inevitable. Just losing Americanism is what debate.org said. It's a big tragedy, but overall less deaths. And during the war, 10 million people were killed, and only 100,000 were killed by the bomb. So this shows that the bomb saves lives that day. Civilians did die, but in all wars, Americans died. Or Americans and civilians and the other country's army. So the bomb, it's more of a scare factor that makes the countries actually stop wanting to fight, and it saves lives in the end by the peace treaties that come afterwards. Which brings me to contention 3, ending the war. The fear of the bomb and its destruction is up there ways. The nuclear warhead can destroy a whole city, and the radiation and side effects that follow can last 50 plus years. So there's a lot of fear when getting bombed by a nuclear warhead. It drives a country into terror, which will cause government to talk about peace treaties. And when the bomb blows up, it sends out a shock wave that covers a 3-kilometer radius. So it does a great deal of damage. So to conclude, I would like to restate the reasons we need to continue to use the nuclear bomb. It is important because it is able to save lives and end the wars a lot faster than a total takeover. It is what brought World War II to an end.
name is Troy Schreiber, and I will be speaking for the negative side about using nuclear weapons. And we believe nuclear weapons have dramatically changed the way war is fought and the way people think of war. And what once started out as an innocent physical phenomenon has now become a source of terror for many people and countries. Nuclear weapons should not be used in war or ever because of the damage it does to the environment, the deadly medical side effects it can have on innocent citizens, and because we can't control it. What my partner on the affirmative side for using nukes brought up, one of the points was that the devastation shows our power. While he used that as a good thing, I believe it might be used as a bad thing because America's always been a country that's built itself on helping people and not ruling by terror and that kind of power, but instead by lending out a helping hand and helping countries in need. Another point he brought up is America is one of the few countries that has nuclear weapons, and we actually aren't. We may have most of them, but we do not have all the nuclear weapons. Other countries possess nuclear weapons that they could also use against us, which also would not be a good thing. Many civilians die from third-degree burns and radiation, which is also very harmful in the use of nuclear weapons. And those effects last up to 50 years, as he said, which is not a good thing because people are going through immense, terrible pain because of the aftermath of the bombs, as well as psychological terror. Another point he brought up is we rule by terror. That is not a good thing. I mean, the United States is not a dictatorship, and we have never been a country to rule by terror. We have been by the people and for the people, and we have never had success, or we have never been a country built on ruling by terror. Going back to why we should not use nuclear weapons, contention A is the environment. Nuclear explosions can create a black cloud that blocks out the sun and sends temperatures plummeting, which is not good and may lead to an ice age. I mean, while it may not last forever, it will certainly last for a long time. And because of that, it can lead to dramatic climate changes, and also it will shorten up the growing seasons, which is very bad. Our second contention is medical side effects. The radioactivity from the blast would be deadly to nearby populations. And as I mentioned before, numerous innocent bystanders would be harmed and killed, and the effects would last for generations to come. Radiation poisoning can be caused by numerous complications that mess with people's bone growth and tissue. If you've ever seen pictures of people, even a couple of generations after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, some of the deformities are horrible, and it really messes up people. And our third contention is most of the time we can't even control the power and the devastation the nukes cause. The TNT per kiloton ratio for the nuclear bomb ratio is 8 times bigger than Nagasaki's Fat Man bomb, which is ridiculous that there's that much power in one bomb. Fireball radius from a nuclear weapon is 2 miles, which means everything in that 2 miles would be completely obliterated and never be able to use again. And if another country or nation got a hold of the technology, there would be mass chaos and destruction. Hundreds of millions of people would die. And it is said that there is enough nuclear firepower to completely destroy the Earth and everything we've worked for, which would be very bad.
Hi, my name is Reece, and I'm just here today to tell you why that nuclear weapons aren't a bad thing. and kind of clear up what Troy just said. So one thing is he said that we're not a nation to rule by terror. Well, in war, how else are you going to win besides the other country being scared of you? If they're not scared of you, the war will never be over. So really you have to have some kind of terror or fear of your country in order to be the most powerful. And I look at America as one of the most powerful countries and most technologically advanced countries. He said we've always helping countries in need. Well, technically we do help countries in need, but Japan was the first person to bomb. They started the bombings. They bombed us. We didn't do anything to them. So really dropping the nuclear weapon was just a way of showing them that they can't mess with us anymore and to stop the war. And he also said it kills many innocent lives. Well, everybody in war is innocent. The soldiers haven't done anything to each other. They're just there to fight for their country and fight for their leaders. So everybody's an innocent. And so, like we said, 10 million people in World War II were killed. And with one drop of a bomb, they killed 100,000 people into the war immediately. So, in the end, it saved many lives. He said that it can cause environment issues, was one of his contentions. But right here we have that both Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they are both up and growing cities, and the land came back and is in perfect condition and doing well today. So it's it comes back. Sure, it messes things up for a while, but if you look at it from one standpoint, we've only had to drop one bomb and it's proved a big point. So in the end, it's not like you're dropping a bomb every single day. I mean, it's just here in case we need it. It's another tool in our tool chest. And then he said health effects. Well, yeah, health effects are a bad issue, but like another thing is there's only 100,000 people instead of 10 million people dead. There's just a few people with health effects in the long-term events, so that's a lot smaller than the big picture when you're looking at how many people would have been killed if the war keeps going on. So I think that I've proven why nuclear warfare is needed and a good thing to have.
Hi, my name is Joel Johnson, and I'll be on the side of why we should not use nuclear weapons. First off, I'd like to go back to how Reece was talking about how everyone in the war was innocent. But if you look back at it, a lot of the dictators were not innocent. Adolf Hitler, for example, and still to this day, there's not dictators that are innocent. The damage that nuclear weapons can cause to countries is just ridiculous nowadays because of how much bigger the bombs are now than before. They are now up to 8 times worse than the previous nuclear weapons that have been used, which would cause way more destruction. It could take up to 50 years to recover, and that is just completely devastating for any country. And going back to how Troy was kind of building up about how we are not the only ones who have nukes. There are a lot of other countries as well that have nukes. So it's not like we are the only ones that have that type of power. A couple facts that we had found from a couple of the primary sources was of the 23,000 nuclear weapons in existence, around 2,500 are on high alert. And which high alert means is that they're ready to be launched at any moment, pretty much. They're ready to go whenever anyone is willing to push that button.
that kind of power, it puts you on the edge a little bit, because too much power is just, it's not good. It's good to have power, but whenever you have too much with these type of nuclear weapons, it's not good for your country, and it can make people rethink about our ethics. Going back to what nuclear weapons can cause, the radiation can cause a ton of problems. It can cause problems for the living. If you're so far away and you don't just instantly die from it, you can have long-term problems. And still, you know, the radiation that sticks around after everything is all said and done, it can cause problems to the people, the civilians that are going to be born eventually, and they'll be growing up with birth defects because of this radiation.
So as Joel said in the beginning, he said dictators are not innocent, but dictators spark emotions which make their soldiers fight, and to take their just hatred out, you really need to put fear into them. So to beat a dictatorship, and they're very emotional, very into the war soldiers, you just have to take them out and hit them where it counts, which is fear. Once they fear you, they'll not want to fight as much. And also, they said something about power, and they can limit a nuclear bomb to some degree. They do have a limit to condense the explosion a little bit, but they don't have to use the big bombs all the time. And Truman said that there are warnings that there's bombings coming. So the cities actually do have time to evacuate everyone if they wanted to. Like in Japan, all the children were evacuated. So he never did say what kind of, to the extent of how big the bomb was going to be. They did not know it was a nuclear bomb, but they did have time to evacuate the cities. So the aftermath that was actually put into the death toll could have been slimmed down quite a bit by that warning that Truman sent out.
First off, I'd like to point out that even though America has a lot of power and we are one of the top leaders in the world, there are consequences for our actions. And while we do hold a lot of power and a lot of weapons of mass destruction, I guess you could put it, there are consequences for our actions. And the world's changing, and there are other countries that might be able to put us in check if we do use nuclear weapons, because as I mentioned before, the world is constantly advancing with the technology, and we aren't the only people who have nuclear weapons. Dallas kind of talked about America almost as if we were maybe a dictatorship, and I believe that we are not a dictatorship at all, and that we should not strike fear into people, but instead help them, and try to help countries progress instead of just trying to completely destroy them, which is what a nuclear bomb would do. And there are plenty of environmental factors that go into using nuclear bombs. If we do use a nuclear bomb and there is a massive nuclear war, then as I mentioned before, the growing seasons will be shortened. If the growing seasons are shortened with the drought and everything that's going on right now, how can we really think that we can even grow enough food to provide and keep our country strong?
Well, all these points that Troy's pointed out, I thought we had cleared up before, but I guess you need to be reminded again that America isn't trying to just dictate everybody. Dictatorship is a lot different. We don't try to run our people or tell our people what to do or what the rest of the world to do. We just don't want anybody jacking with us. We've only pulled the trigger one time on a nuclear bomb, and in my opinion, it needed to happen. Japan had killed many of our Americans, and it was time to get the war over with, so the nuclear bomb ended it. He also said again about the environment. Well, yes, it might hurt that spot in the country, but it's not going to hurt the whole world environmentally. He said something about a drought already, so we don't need that. Well, the drought's just in one part of the United States. The drought isn't all over the world. There's lots of places in the world that there's not drought right now that they can get their food shipped in from. So the drought's nothing to concern anything about the nuclear bomb. He also says about how it affects the whole country. Well, really, it doesn't affect the whole country. It just affects a part of the country where the bomb hits. It is big, but it will not destroy the whole country, and they can recoup just like Japan did in their days. We wouldn't want just anybody being able to tell us when it was time to send a nuclear bomb out. So it's a big responsibility, and you have to know when the time is right. But in our opinion, that when it's needed, it is a positive thing. It can end wars and save lives. Thank you.
So as Reece came back up and tried to make a point back to Troy as how America, trying to explain how America is not a dictatorship, I'd like to just go and say that America, as we know, is slowly growing more and more towards a dictatorship. And from our personal experiences, taking our guns away and lots of other things like that, they are taking liberties away from us, which probably should not be taken away from us. Nukes have huge effects on many things, people, environment, and everything around it. Going back to the environment, it completely destroys the soil, everything in the ground. You know, it affects the growing season. It can mess with the weather, the sun, everything like that. It just completely destroys everything. Medical side effects, many people are injured from this. Many people have to grow up with problems. And going to our conclusion, while nuclear weapons seem a sure and easy route to use for warfare, we may want to think twice before using them. Nuclear bombs wreak too much havoc, and there will be millions of innocent people that will be killed and suffer from the use of these weapons. The technology used in the bombs is too great for man to control, and the United States is not the only country that possesses these types of weapons. If we start a nuclear war, the world, as we know, could very possibly end. If we did survive the nuclear war, the effects on the environment would be catastrophic because it would be a virtual ice age, and with this shortened growing season, it is a high possibility that we cannot grow enough food to sustain our vast population. While nukes seem like a fast and easy way to end war, we should never use them because we will only be hurting not only our people and country, but the world we have tried so hard to